127. If good education, decency, and solid characteristics are a human being's own, then they are also virtuous and characterized by constancy in life. 128. The human being is born neutral positive and is therefore integrated into a positive-negative equilibrium. Only through leading life do stronger sides of the negative or positive develop, whereby Ausartungen can arise. Therefore, also, no human being is good or bad from birth. Rather, every human being determines through their character and their personality, and through the leading of their life, whether they maintain and retain their equilibrium, or whether they fall prey to an Ausartung of the positive or good, or the negative or bad. 129. The human being is indeed born to be righteous and upright, but they themselves determine their way of life and leading of life. Consequently, they themselves also decide in favor of the equalized positive, or in favor of an Ausartung in positive or negative, and in good or bad. 130. No matter how much good fortune a human being calls their own, as it is with any other human being, they are integrated into the creational natural laws and recommendations of life. Therefore, they must be born as well as live and die, as it is with every single other human being. Because, on one hand, good fortune does not keep the human being from the last step to death. And on the other hand, death itself is to be called good fortune, and in the cycle of birth and death, of becoming and passing, it brings a constant renewal of life. 131. A human being who knows truth is by no means equal to they who love it. When a human being loves truth, that does not mean that they also find fulfillment in it. But a human being who knows truth, loves it, and finds fulfillment in it, is a truly knowing and wise one. 132. Only a human being whose education and solid characteristics surpass the average can have sublime things explained to them and understand them. But to those who live below the average and normal mediocrity of education and marked substantial characteristics, the understanding of the sublime and highest things is closed off, for which reason they must make an effort regarding education, the recognition of truth, and regarding knowledge, as well as regarding manual skills, in order to attain the average and surpass it. Evolution demands that. 133. To be an effective human being in the real and true sense demands that one fulfills one's inner and outer duties regarding one's fellow human beings and all other life. And with all due respect, one distances oneself from all that which is life unworthy, through which truth, knowledge, manual work, deference, honor, and decency, as well as all good virtues, are disregarded and neglected. 134. Along with the learning of truth, knowledge, and all good virtues, the truthful human being makes the mastering of all difficulties of life, as well as learning how to be a real human being in the true sense, their main concern. 135. Healthy and positive equalized principles are of an important validity and are absolutely indispensable for life and for being a human being. 136. A truly knowing or wise one can indeed be deceived and tricked, but can never be made a fool. 137. A human being with a noble character, with sense for truth, and with knowledge and deference, decency, and respect regarding fellow human beings and all life, who strives for learning and integrates themselves into the laws and recommendations of the good kind of life, of good sense of form, of demureness, of sensitivity, of sense of duty, courteousness, and therefore of good behavior and politeness, as well as of a sense for tact, will always act correctly and will remain within the borders of the reasonable. 138. When a human being acts immorally, then rebuke is just as certain for them as is human beings turning away from them, unforgiving and angry words, and finally the avoidance and ostracism of them. 139. Truth, knowledge, and good virtues are already of high value when they reach the measure of the quiet center. There are, unfortunately, only a few such human beings, however, who already live in the frame of this center. Many pretend to live in the quiet center, but their words and their posturing and behavior are only fake, in order to dazzle fellow human beings and to make themselves better than they truly are. 140. The truly knowing ones, as well as the wise ones, are filled with the wish to also let their fellow human beings share in their knowledge and their wisdom, so that human beings thereby become strengthened. The truly knowing ones and wise ones live in magnanimity and long for other human beings' need for knowledge and wisdom also to be satisfied. 141. To be able to impartially and neutrally assess other human beings according to the nature of righteousness is a virtue that is only characteristic of a few, because many do not assess fellow human beings. Rather, they make a judgment according to their own smug and partisan inner nature. 142. To quietly accumulate truth and knowledge, to learn untiringly and without aversion, and to instruct others thoroughly in that which is learnt, without becoming surly, tired, and without decency, is a behavior which is actually only characteristic of a wise one. 143. If human beings do not properly nurture good virtues, and do not thoroughly discuss that which is already learnt, and if they do not practice the maintenance of existing capabilities, and are incapable of getting closer to righteousness and all that which is good and positive, which they heard about, because it was proclaimed to them, and if human beings are incapable of changing towards the positive and equalize, and if they leave everything moral completely out of attention, then this testifies not only to a shameful uneducatedness and unconcernedness of the human being, rather also to destructive and devolutive thinking and acting, which gives those who, in truth, are knowing and wise, cause for concern. 144. Many human beings are genial and jovial, even high-spirited, when they are unoccupied, inactive, and without thought, when they can just live for the day and parasitically let their fellow human beings execute the duties for the maintenance of life. And they do not care about truth and knowledge, nor about education and work and deference, decency and respect for life and fellow human beings, as well as for the creational natural laws and recommendations, and the following and fulfilling of them is foreign to them. Are not such human beings no more than mere good-for-nothings and parasites, who steal time from life, evolution, and all righteous and sincere ones, and amuse themselves at their expense, and have an effortless life? 145. May the human being's striving and will always be directed onto the path of duty and its fulfillment, as well as at evolution, so that the sense of life prospers and self-responsibility is practiced and fulfilled to the last iota. 146. It is the need of the characterful human being to make all knowledge of that which is moral their own, so that it may remain adhered to, and they can move among their fellow human beings in honor and decency. It is the wish of every truly human being that the human being acquires complete virtues, truth and knowledge, and generally good education as well as manual activity, and that all these things are also complied with. 148. May the human being not only learn and work, also rather find relaxation in the fine arts of the muses. However, not only so that they can enjoy them, rather also because the fine arts of the muses are harmony creating and equalizing, which contribute to education and to evolution. 149. The wise one does not reveal truth and their knowledge to anybody who does not make an upright, curious effort for it, with a thirst for knowledge. Therefore, however, the wise one distances themselves from helping anyone go forward who is not willing to explain themselves and solely wants to become knowing for the sake of knowledge. 150. A human being does not like to sing when they feel like crying, and they do not like to eat to satiation when they are grieving. But once crying and grieving are past, then may they concern themselves again normally about all things of everyday life, in order to remain capable of life and to fulfill all duties of life which are neglected through crying and grieving.